This episode of Tim's Enthusiast Garage is brought to you by True Performance. True Performance is a body shop with decades of experience in Central Ohio, located just outside Dublin in Plain City. Let True Performance restore your car's true performance. You can contact them at 614-733-0708 or visit them online at trueperformancecollision.com. We're here at True Performance, and today's the day they're going to put the paint on the Lotus Esprit Turbo. Come on in, let's check it out. So here we are at True Performance, where today they're going to lay down the color, which you saw in the last video is called Amethyst Black. It's a McLaren color and provided this time by PPG. Thanks, PPG. After the last video, the guys spent some time finishing the bodywork. In other words, all that high build primer, sanding it, block sanding it, another coat of high build primer, sanding that, and then a third coat of high build primer to have the most even substrate possible. I wrote an article in the most current issue of S3 magazine, and it focused somewhat on counting the cost of this whole process. What Bear is doing here is the first stage of color for this car. And we're talking the first of many stages. There's multiple stages of color, multiple stages of clear, on top of multiple stages of what are body filler and body primer. All these things take so much time, and I know these videos have been kind of long, but what I really wanted to impart here is what it takes to make a car that looks fantastic. Righteous video game! Hold on. From the beginning, I thought a first-person perspective of Bear actually putting the paint down on the car would be brilliant. What I did not consider was that he would be painting the lens of the GoPro. And no, I did not fit any protective film to the lens. So, you know, this video cost a little more than the usual video. People talk all the time about how Bentleys or vintage Aston Martins, Lotuses, Ferraris back in the day were painstakingly painted by hand. This is that art form. What True Performance is doing here with this car is truly, you know, it's not even just a renovation, it's sort of a complete resurrection. Probably better than what the car was to start with. And so, yes, it's been kind of a long process. Yes, these videos have been a little on the long side, but I could honestly watch these artisans all day. And I know from the comments on the last video that you enjoy it too.
nasty. Oh my god. Excellent work there.
After the first layer of paint had dried completely, Bear went back in and shot another layer of color down on the car. And you can kind of see that between layers, it gets a little, almost like a matte look to it. And I asked him, sort of what the process was there. And essentially, that the nature of the paint, it helps adhesion with the next layer. Each of these layers of paint and clear has a little bit different mix, which I'll show you a little bit later. Here's a little bit better shot of what I mean with that. First layer of color has completely dried. It's a very matte, almost completely matte finish. And then Bear applies the next layer. For these parts, which have already had multiple layers of color put down on them and have already been inspected by the bodyman, the pieces are now clear coated. And this would be the first application of clear coat to these pieces. And at last the body gets color. Here you can see Bear introducing color onto the body of the Lotus Esprit S4. This was a pretty exciting moment, and unbelievably, I was not able to be here for this. My good friend Austin from Lucor shot most of this footage, and I really can't thank him enough. When I finally got a chance to see this, my mind was blown. There's just something about picking a color for a car. I wanted to stay in the black family. I wanted to stay with sort of that JPS, but I really wanted something a little bit different. And as you can see here, as color finally goes on the shell, it is very exciting. I mean, when I first watched this footage, I was kind of blown away. And I'm stoked for this project to kind of start moving a little quicker now, because as you'll see at the end of this video, the car now has color on it.
Flare down.
Now the next day, after the color had been applied to the car, because it's the body of the car and because it's, it needs to be completely perfect for shows, and well, just because that's how they want it, Bear is going to go around the car with 800 and then 1000 grit sandpaper and do some fine finishing, making sure that the color is perfectly stable all around the car. Now, some of this was done on the other panels too. I just elected not to show that in the interest of time, but I am going to show him here now go around the car with the 800 and 1000 grit sandpaper, then follow that up with a full wipe down. Then they clean the room and then they spray more color. Yes, more color before the clear goes on the Esprit. Finally, multiple coats of clear coat are put on the car, and this really is it. This is it. We're finally to the end of the Esprit being painted. Now, yes, there's things still to do afterwards, which I'll cover sort of at the end of this video and in the beginning of the next, but things like wet sanding and those sorts of things, let's not think about those right now. Let's watch the car get glossy and wet with this clear coat going down on top of it. Here's an image of me and Bear sort of outside of our suits, and here is an insane list of everything that we mixed to put on this car. Check it out.
is now 4:40. Tim is late.
Are we doing it?
We're doing it.
Oh, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
It's happening. Too aggressive.
A little aggressive.
I have another set that's like less stancy stance. But here at True Performance, new video coming soon on this M3. I'm very excited about that. E46 M3, one of my all-time favorite M cars. But in here, inside True Performance is what I hear. Everyone's telling me, everyone's asking me, have you seen it? Have you seen it? I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole tub. Let's go inside and check it out. Through the door. It looks black. It looks black with like maybe, oh, it's black with a metallic. You get up close to it and you see the purple. It is glorious. It is glorious. I need a more powerful light. That's exciting. Stunning. I can't wait to get this thing back together. I'm sure that you've enjoyed this video of painting the car and that sort of thing. Next is going to be, this is going to cure for about 2 months. The paint, because it's a composite car, fiberglass car, Kevlar, carbon fiber, those sorts of things. We're going to let it cure for about 2 months, and then Expel is going on most of the forward surfaces of the car. Maybe the whole car, but at least the vulnerable areas and probably some of the areas in back where they're going to be working. That way we protect the paintwork. We only paint it once. We've even got the doors lined up. Look at that. So once the gents at Performance Auto Spa really get their hands on this and sort of get all the light swirls and stuff out, and I can't believe how even it is. And there was a giant hole right here, if you remember. No more hole. That's cool. And if you remember from the first video, all the cracks, there were sort of longitudinal cracks just all the way here. And it is just silky smooth now. So once we get this wet sanded and just all flat, it'll cure for a couple months, and we'll get, like I said, we'll get it properly protected with Expel. Wow. What a fantastic color choice. And down here, you know, sort of the resurrection part, you know, it is going to be very similar to the V8 color scheme in that this will be a gold accent on that ductwork there. There'll probably be a gold accent somewhere up in here. Gold accent on the nose. Probably nothing back here. Although, and I'm not sure where all the parts are, but they've painted the transom, they've painted there's sort of a filler piece here on the S4. But just True Performance, stellar work, guys.